as long as you're not owing on it, that will be your security or collateral that I will hold in order to do business with you. They break open your house one time, they rape your mother, they rape your father, they rape your brother, they rape your sister, they rape your auntie, they rape your auntie, they rob you of all your jewels, they take your car if you have a license firearm, they take your firearm, and they go on with that. And those that are supposed to vote for this bill, for the next year, you all are pleased and it's okay with that. What are they smoking? You cannot come and tell Saieed, well, hear this now. Saieed, mass mandatory, here we go. They come to an end. And then you come and tell me, here we go on side. If you go to the supermarket, the grocery, or the malls, you have to wear your mask. Saieed, if you go to a pharmacy, you have to wear your mask. Saieed, if you're traveling, you have to wear your mask. If you're in the transportation hub, you have to wear your mask. If you're going to church side, you have to wear your mask. If you're in the school side, you're wearing your mask. If you go to a barber salon, you go to the theater, you're wearing your mask. Which dum-dum in Trinidad and Tobago will go in a theater and buy a popcorn and a juice and sit down and wear a mask? Thanks! If every councillor go through their constituency, do video clips like this and send it for us, I'm gonna be so happy just to play it on our program on a Wednesday night. You know why I would be happy? I will be filled with joy in my heart. You know why? Because the councillor is getting off their butts and they are actually going and doing some live video shoots. Real Talk took the initiative to find out suppliers of wheat in the world that National Flour Mill could go to. So now Romano is saying the company is not going to raise any price in the near future. Why? Why? Is it because the S-boss and they realize now that, hey, it is in the public domain that we could go right Mexico and buy flour and wheat? We could go right China and buy wheat? I am about change. And thus far, Real Talk is very effective in Trinidad and Tobago, coming towards making changes for the citizens. Public Utility Minister Marvin Gonzalez have urged the population to appreciate and be grateful for the availability of the utilities. This, as Gonzalez recalled, time in his life when he had to fetch water using a bucket from a nearby river. Gonzalez, I want you to understand something. I want you, Mr. Gonzalez, to understand something. You are being paid thousands of dollars by public utility, by the finance ministry, to govern WASA. Come on. To govern WASA, I want you to understand that you ain't going in no office for no free code. You are being paid. Do not tell me that I, Saieed, have to be grateful for the water I get it. Let me tell you something, Gonzalez. Every 4 months, I have to pay $400 and I get water once a bloody month. So don't come on a media briefing and say, Saieed, you have to be contented. You have to be happy. Marvin, the next best thing for you to do is to resign and get the hell out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host, Saeed. We do want to thank you for joining us tonight, viewers. It's Bacchanal Thursday tonight. So remember, viewers, Real Talk is giving you 4% on fixed deposit. Don't miss out on this offer. Don't. You wouldn't like to miss out on this offer, and later on you're crying that, oh, you know, we missed out on our 4% offer on Real Talk on fixed deposit. Now we had to settle with 1% that the bank given us. Don't get carried away with 1%. Call us, set up a meeting, drop your numbers on screen there for Real Talk. So viewers, remember it's 4% on fixed deposit at Real Talk Group of Companies, viewers. This is our phone line. Call us between the hours of 8:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. Monday to Friday. Set up an appointment. Don't miss out on the highest interest rates being paid on a fixed deposit in Trinidad and Tobago. Don't miss out this offer, otherwise you will be crying later on. When you go to the bank, you have to settle with your 1%, your 0.5%. So Trinidad and Tobago, as we start our program, it's Bacchanal Thursday. So here it is. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley have stated that he will not call in foreign observers to observe the local government election, which he said are due in a few weeks. This after UNC has called for foreign observers to observe the elections. Due soon, as a result of the Privy Council judgment, the government should not have extended the life of local government bodies by a year. So remember, viewers, 238-6716 is the phone line to call in. I want to hear what you have to say. Moving along now. The question, what is it they expect to happen in a local election that we have to invite foreign observers. They are free to come if they wish. It's a free country. So listen to this.
Some of our colleagues are telling me I must invite foreigners to come and observe our local government election. No. What is it we expect to happen here in a local election that we have to invite foreigners to come and look at it? They're free to come if they wish. It's a free country. But that is not part of government system. Why are we selling ourselves short? You know what we do? We send people from Trinidad and Tobago from our election and Boundaries Commission to observe other people's election because they see us as superstars in that business.
So now viewers, he said another reason he said no was because the PNM was without blemish, and that when the party lost in the polls for the first time in 3 decades, it went quietly to Balize House and functioned in such a way that the electorate voted it back into office 5 years later. Asked whether he had succession planning in place for when he retired, the PM said he was considering withdrawing from political life many times, but latest being before the 2015 election. The PM said he did not do so because he wanted the young people who joined his cabinet to have someone with experience to lead. The viewers, the Prime Minister did that because he wanted young leaders to lead Trinidad and Tobago into where? I don't know. But nevertheless, viewers, you are viewing Real Talk with Saieed Ali. We are on Synergy Television, live from Monday to Friday from 7 to 8 p.m. with a rerun the next day from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Remember, we are also on Facebook and YouTube. It's Facebook, Real Talk with Saieed Ali. And on YouTube, it's TT Real Talk. Subscribe, hit the bell, and you will know when we go live. So share our social media platform, viewers, so friends and family will know about the #1 current affairs program in Trinidad and Tobago. Remember, Real Talk is giving you 4% on fixed deposits. Remember that, viewers, it's 4%. Don't miss out that. And those of you who are looking for cash borrow, remember, I'm a licensed money lender. So if you want to do business, just call me, set up an appointment, and we can do business. I'm not afraid to lend. As long as you have collateral, it's not a problem. It is not a problem with me. You know, one thing I would say is that when people see you going up in life, they just try their very, very best to keep you down. But as always say, and as always stayed bold and brave, when you're coming after Saieed, all you have to do is know that gentleman that you're coming after will not take what you're throwing out at him quietly. I will not take it quietly. I'm like a roaring lion. I will roar when I have to. And I will be humble and quiet as a lamb. But when it's time for Saieed to roar, believe me, I'll be like the worst lion in the jungle. You wouldn't love it. You would not. As the Senate debate a bill to validate act by Councilor done for the last December up to the 18th of May, cut-off date established by the Privy Council, Attorney General Regional Armo SC promised the Senate to amend the bill so its effects did not extend after May 18th. The AG stated that rationales of clause 5 will be to validate the function and act or all things done by councillors and aldermen for the period between December 2nd, 2022 to May 18, 2023. He said the period between May 18, 2023 to the date of the election will be called. Mayors will remain in office. Listen to this. Now, Trinidad and Tobago, I want to let you understand something. While you're looking for the video, remember the Privy Council said it is against the government for what they are doing presently. By extending the 1 year to aldermen and councillors, let me tell you something. According to Privy Council, it is illegal. It is illegal. Now, Independent Senator Anthony Varela questioned the details of the AG's proposed amendment to Clause 5. Amor replied that the amendment will be moving is in Clause 5, and the words to be deleted will be, and thereafter exercise the function of councillors and aldermen up until the commencement of the Act. Listen to this. So, we're going for a break, viewers, but when we come back, you're going to hear more of this.
Do you have a public concern you would like to highlight? You can email your pictures and videos to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com, and we will highlight your concerns on our show for Public Concerns Wednesday.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtalk Report Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtalk Report Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Supplier Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
Now, welcome back, viewers. Now, listen to this, Listen to this, He said the period between May 18, 2023 to date of the election to be called, mayors will remain in office. Listen to this.
The rationale, Mr. President, of Clause 5 will be, in due course, to validate the functions and all acts or things done by councillors and aldermen for the period between the 2nd of May 2022 to the 18th of May 2023. The hard work, diligence, and daily achievements, progression of projects vis-à-vis the use of plant, machinery, and equipment by the councillors and aldermen in these two limited periods are recognized and do not go unnoticed by this government and are to be validated by this bill once it becomes law. In the period between the 18th of May 2022 to the date of the election, when that election is called within the prescribed period, the mayors remain in office, and that speaks to the continuity that is provided for by Section 15 of the Municipal Corporations Act.
So now, viewers, they're making provision. Amor replied that the amendment he will be moving is in Clause 5. Now listen to this.
Just to confirm for the record, so the amendment that you have moved in relation to Clause 5 is deletion of the words "and thereafter."
Yes, the amendment which I will be moving is, when you look at Clause 5, the words to be deleted will be, and thereafter exercised the functions of councillors and aldermen up until the commencement of this Act.
Thank you.
That will be the amendment which I will propose. Thank you.
So now Trinidad and Tobago, he quoted from the government 2016 policy document saying local government is a democrat, representative of the community. Just imagine, you wanted to extend their life one more year. Why somebody else couldn't take over? Why this set of individuals? Why? Why not call election? Let a new set of individuals go up. And whatever it is you have to do to reform local government, do it after the local government election. Why extend these individuals by 1 year? Was it a plan? Trinidad and Tobago knew nothing about it. They went straight to the Privy Council. And they what? They got turned down. Amos said, it's a victory. What victory it was? You all got turned down. Suck it up. A loss is a loss. A loss can never be a win. So, he added that the PNM will ensure that the municipal corporation reports daily to the Minister of Finance on fiscal matters and are adequately equipped to provide quality service to the community and improve the quality of life for all citizens. Listen to this.
Mr. President, this bill underscores the government's vision for an effective local government system to facilitate the transformation and modernization of local communities to which this government has been committed. Indeed, the policy on local government reform in the Cabinet-approved 2016 policy document states, and I quote with your leave, "Local government is the democratic representative of communities. It is closer to the people than central government and can be dubbed the voice of communities. The People's National Movement will ensure that with the devolution from the Ministry of Local Government, the municipal corporations report directly to the Ministry of Finance, particularly on fiscal matters, and are adequately equipped and resourced to provide quality service to their communities and may improve the quality of life for all citizens."
Now, viewers, moving along. Government readying for property tax. All ready, Trinidad and Tobago? Call a good night.
Yeah, good night, Mr. Saeed.
Go right ahead, you're live.
Hear this. Tell the AG and tell our Prime Minister and tell all the rest of people in this country that if you is a man not afraid of nothing where the election is concerned, why don't you just forget legislation, forget everything else that you're going to bring to Parliament and call election?
Correct.
Call the election now, and if you win, you get through. And
if you lose, you lose. If you win, you win.
But this is what I said, and Saeed sees everything. Local government, workers is saying, cease and desist from doing anything and call the date for election now. And if you win back the election, after the election, you go ahead and continue, partner. That's what we want to see. We want to see the confidence that you have. The people should be backing you in it.
Thank you, my friend. Finance Minister Colin Mimwood have stated that 232,000 residential properties have been assessed for value to form part of the land valuation roll, which will be the base of the property tax. This, as he piloted the valuation of Land Amendment Bill 2023, which disaggregates the country's property into 4 classes: residential, commercial, industrial, and agriculture. With property tax at 3% of a property rental value, Mimwood stated that a valuer would certain examine factors as well as assessing on the base of properties being rented, plus national indicator. So listen to this.
Valuation method is intended, as the bill makes clear, because you're making that amendment, to provide an estimate of market value, the annual rental value. In any such situation, the valuer has to look at the market. The valuer has to look at the condition of the property. The valuer has to look at its location, has to look at its topography, and looking at all these factors, the valuer will arrive at a particular value for the rental value. Clearly, when a valuer, the Commission of Valuations, is going into a particular neighborhood or district There will be properties that are rented. There will also be national indicators. And it is quite easy for the valuer to determine what the rental value of a house would be, or an apartment, if it were rented.
So this means that you cannot put a price, a rental price to your property. Somebody else will do that for you. Somebody else is going to do that for you. So if you say, I have an apartment and I am renting it at $3,000 per month, no, you have no say over that. The valuator will tell you $5,000. Imagine that, eh? Imagine that. Why? Why? Why is that? For you to pay more property tax. For you to pay more property tax. So you cannot put a price on the property or the apartment you want to rent. A valuator will does that for you. So when you tell yourself you're digging into your pocket light because of a $3,000 and the valuator tell you $5,000 or $6,000, well then you have to dig a little deeper. So what about now if your client now who renting your apartment says, you know what, I can't pay that $5,000 or $6,000. I'll leave in. I'm looking for something cheaper. What's going to happen there now? What's going to happen? It just put you at a loss. At a loss. Caller, good night.
A very, very good evening to you, my dear friend, Mr. Saieed Ali.
You're live, my friend. Good night to you and the family.
Thank you so much. My take on election. So we have parliamentary elections, which is general election, every 5 years. The term is 5 years. And we have local government election. The term is 3 years. Why don't we go to parliament and debate and rearrange this whole thing so that nobody, it doesn't matter who in power, cannot pull out any paper from the back pocket and call election when they feel to. We should have a fixed date for general election and a fixed date for local government election, and all the worries over, all the best.
Thank you, my friend. So if you are staying on the property tax, but he stated that a high proportion of the population live in rented house, and added that the number of applications for public housing exceeds 100,000. Listen to this.
There are very few areas in Trinidad and Tobago where there is no evidence whatsoever of what the rental of that class of property would be. I dare say none. Because quite a large proportion of our population lives in rented accommodation. And the proof of that is the number of applications before the Housing Development Corporation. We have all sorts of numbers, but I'm certain we all agree that every government has said that the number of applications for housing before the Housing Development Corporation exceed 100,000. I can speak for myself as a member of parliament. I am aware that many of my constituents are in rented property.
And what is the government doing to fix that? What are they doing to make all these HDC homes available cheaper to the citizens of our country, Trinidad and Tobago, which the government says that they are working for us? Who is us? The citizens of our country. So what now? What now is the minister or the Ministry of Finance going to say now to HDC? Let's find some way to accommodate the citizens of our country so everybody could have a home, a place the citizens can call home. HDC has hundreds of thousands of houses put down in Trinidad and Tobago. But one have to wait 15, 20, 25 years to get a response from HDC. On the flip side to that, when you put in an application to the bank, in less than 3 months, the commercial bank, contacts you, the individual, to let you know if you qualified or not. HDC taking 15 and 20 years to get in touch with you. Whereas the bank will get in touch with you in less than 3 months. Imagine that, eh? Imagine that. Private entity versus government. Who's responding more? The private entity. Lackadaisical waste of time on the government side. Caller, good night.
Yeah, Mr. Saieed Ali, good night.
Go right ahead.
Mr. Saieed Ali, you know, in these times that we're living in now, the whole world is under financial problems. The whole world is under financial crisis. We understand that. We want our ministers in our government in Trinidad and Tobago to also understand that. And property tax, we are saying that property tax should not only be introduced to the citizens of this country, but also to them.
Correct.
We would like all our ministers, prime ministers, presidents, and all we senators to pay property tax and do not be exempted from that.
Thank you, my friend. But also noted that in the US, property tax was paid typically of US $3,700 per year, equivalent to $25,000 per year, while in the UK, it was equivalent to $20,000 per year. However, in TNT, it will be $1,000 to $1,200 per year. Listen to this.
If one looks at the United Kingdom, the average tax, I'm told, in the United Kingdom for an average home, average small flat, 2-bedroom flat in the United Kingdom, the average tax per year is in the vicinity of £2,000. So in the UK, your ordinary person, your bus driver, your dock worker, has to pay council tax somewhere close to $20,000 a year. In our case, the equivalent person has to pay $1,000 per year. I just want to make that clear, because there is a lot of misinformation and a lot of mischief outside there.
He wants to make it clear. There's a lot of miscommunication and a lot of mischief. So what I want to ask Colin Members, how much TT dollar to 1 US? Oh, it is $6.15 or $6.45, I believe. Colin Member, do the damn maths. How much for £1? £1 is probably $9 or $10 by now. Colin Member, do the damn maths. We're not in the UK. We're not in the US. Do not compare the US dollar to a TT dollar. And do not compare the pound dollar to a TT dollar. Don't be a clown on a podium. You see kindergarten children in birth? Go and sit down in a kindergarten and talk to kindergarten children about that. Do not come on a podium and want to quote US to TT and want to quote pounds to TT. Do you take us for donkey head, illiterate, dodo head, concrete people? But I side, I'm asking you that. Hey. Trinidad and Tobago citizens, if all you want to be some donkey head clowns and allow these people that all you put in power to walk and trample over all you, be my guest. Be my guest. Colin Member is the Minister of Finance. I did accounts. You cannot compare Trinidad to Guyana. You can't. Don't compare a US dollar with a TT dollar. How much for a US dollar? So all the clowns who believe in both, how much for $1 US? It takes $6 of your money you have in your pocket for $1 US. How much for a pound? How much for £1 of UK dollar? It'll probably take $9 or $10 of your TNT money to one of them dollar in the UK. So if all I want to be puppet on strings, be my guest. Go ahead and let them walk all over all year, but you can't walk over side. The number of properties identified in TNT from all sources was 600,000. And TNTech data said 400,000 of these were residential, and 49,000 were commercial, and 3,000 industrial, and the rest were agriculture and others. Call a good night.
Pleasant good night, my lord. How are you going?
Is that Prem?
Yeah.
How are you going?
Everything all right, boy. When you go to again, boy, when you can't be them, you have to join them. They say, these fellas get senile now. They don't care. They don't care about this country again, brother. I tell you last week what they're doing to we poor fellas. 3 days work, they want to have 7 days work, and 7 days meal. They want to charge a man for a bucket going garden, but they are charged for cutting a big tree. And suffering with the picture like with Barco. Oh, and the corporation have this, the ministers don't care about we. Even the councilor don't care about telling me to take it up. Like we is Barco and some dust and grass we're digging from the drain. CPF work, the government work, and the people cutting down tree. Why do not charge them? Why the government don't charge them? But you want to charge a poor man over in the garden with a bucket. That is like justice for these people. Why you have to care nothing again, my? Them don't care nothing about me in this country, and this country got done for them. Thank you, my Lord. Take care. God bless them. Get about 1,000 years.
Thank you, my friend. So, in closing to this story, Imbut said that the Valuation Division had digitalized data on 570,541 properties in Trinidad and Tobago, while the number of residential properties registered has exceeded the 50% threshold required to enact property tax. Listen to this.
So far, the Valuation Division has digitized 536,876 properties in Trinidad, 33,665 properties in Tobago, for a total digitization of the outlines of buildings in Trinidad and Tobago of 570,541. The Valuation Division has advised me that quite some time ago, they have exceeded the 50% threshold for residential properties. The current number of residential properties, I'm advised, is which are ready for the roll. They have been inspected, they have been examined, they have been viewed, they have been analyzed. At this time, 232,000 residential properties have been valued and are ready for the roll.
I want to let you understand something, viewers. You see all the multi-story buildings where people are renting? Do you know that that building is tax-free? No property tax? Who has one? I wonder if the Minister of Finance has one. And he piloted the bill so that owners of these duplex, multi-story rental apartment should not pay property tax. Push that, got it passed, now come to label you now as individuals, homeowners, to pay property tax. Who all they want for Finance Minister again? Call him Imbut? All they want him again for the next 5 years? Piloted a bill to make sure he don't pay property tax. But bring back a bill now. So all the foolish citizen, the dodo head citizen, the clown citizen who love calling member, great is the Minister of Finance. You know what they're doing? All they pay property tax. While he getting an exemption, who have to pay it? Saeed? I go pay it. Why you think I'm talking about it on TV? Why you think I'm elaborating? Why? So all of the citizens could open up all their eyes and all their ears because all they're seeing and all they're hearing. Caller, good night. Hello.
Hello. Hello, Saeed.
Yes, you're live. Go right ahead.
I'm calling from Canada. Watching your show at the moment. Who Imbert wants to fool? If he wants people to pay property tax in Trinidad and compare with US, why don't he pay them in US dollars?
Correct. Where are you calling?
So you pay the tax in US dollars.
You are calling from Canada presently.
Pardon me?
Are you calling from Canada presently?
Yeah.
So what is the property tax value, rental value in Canada presently?
Okay, my house is 2,200 square feet.
Yes.
I pay like $3,800 a year property tax.
For the year?
Yeah, for the year. Right? But he wants to compare Trinidad with Canada, the States, and UK.
Correct.
People living in Trinidad, they have to pay in Trinidad dollars, not in US dollars.
Correct,
so
correct. Well said.
You know? So, because the value of a property here is very much, you know? And how could he fool people, or we want to fool people that they have to pay this amount of money? You understand?
Yes.
So Imbert is just a clown. He's just a clown and a dwell. You know, why don't he go back to Shitton Antigua, where he belongs to?
Correct.
You know, and over here, I'll tell you something, Saeed. We pay tax. The government, I live in here, Mr. Saga. Every 3 months, they put out a bulletin as to what they do with the money they collect in property tax.
Okay, good, nice.
Every 3 months, they have bulletins going out to people, showing what they do with the tax they collect. You see? Not in Trinidad.
No, they don't do that here.
Money and push it in their pocket. You know? Why Imbert that pay tax on the property that the building Port save? Eh?
Yes.
Over here in Canada, and this is the honest truth, everybody pay tax. Prime Minister, ministers,
yes, everybody.
Pay tax. Everybody pay tax. You know?
Yes.
Only in Trinidad is yet the law that finance minister and ministers don't pay taxes. But here, everybody pay income tax and they pay property tax.
So let me ask you a question as a caller from Canada.
Yeah.
Those people or those individuals who have the multi-story complex on them that we call apartment building with probably 100 or 200 tenants, they are included in the tax bracket.
Well, there are different tax brackets for these people.
Oh, nice,
they have what they call
nice.
corporate tax, that is for taxes that people have.
I love how you say that.
You know, for people who have rental property, who have, you know, big complex, like a 200, 300 unit renting, and they pay different tax.
But they pay tax?
Yeah, they're paying tax. Everybody paying tax.
Thank you.
You see, that's the reason why I'll tell you that the rental property, the rent is a bit higher than if a person rent the house, because a person renting the house, the property tax is a bit smaller.
Yes.
You see? So I just see what Imbert talking about, how you could compare US dollars with Trinidad dollars. So I pay almost $4,000 a year property tax. That's about 20,000. That's about 20,000 dollars.
About average.
So I have to pay 20,000 this year in Trinidad. So I have a property in Trinidad, down Palmas, Philippines. You know, it's valued. It has a great value on that property. We had a business there. And, you know, I didn't know if I'm sent, I don't know what they did, but I want to know how much tax I had to pay.
My friend, thank you so much for calling in. So you see Trinidad and Tobago, even, I tell you, this program is being viewed all over, you know, we hitting points all over the world, you know. Imagine he calling from Canada to ask him, but what kind of clown he is? How can you compare TT dollar to US dollar? How can you? How can you? So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but when we come back, we will talk about the House passed land valuation bill after this.
Do you have a public concern you would like to highlight? You can email your pictures and videos to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com, and we will highlight your concerns on our show for Public Concerns Wednesday.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan? Only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Real Talk Report Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Real Talk Report Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Supplier Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
So welcome back to Real Talk, viewers. Now, a divided House of Representatives passed a bill ahead of the introduction of property tax. The Valuation of Land Amendment Bill 2023. With the opposition voting against it, the bill piloted by Finance Minister Colin Mimbut was passed by an 18-14 vote. However, Barataria Sawa MP Saddam Hussein said persons were resentful of paying property tax when they were not receiving proper government service. Listen to this.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, persons in any democratic society would have no problem with paying a tax, you know. They will pay the tax if they feel that it is deserving to give to the government, if they are getting the services of the government. But when you pay taxes and you don't get services from the government, people will repel from paying that tax. And we have seen 8 consecutive years of this incompetent PNM regime fail to deliver essential goods and services to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the rainy season is coming up. You will see people, houses being flooded out for weeks in this country because they failed to clean the water courses in a timely manner, because they failed to do maintenance throughout the entire year, and now want citizens to take out the little money from their savings to pay property tax.
Now viewers, like I said, all over the world they pay property tax. You heard the caller from Canada just now. Every 3 months, the government release bulletins to Canadian people on what they do with the money. Do we see that in Trinidad? We don't see that. We don't. Look at the condition of our roads. Now, Hussein stated that the budget estimated for collection of property tax for 2023 was $50 million. To go to the local government, he divided $50 million by 14 corporations, saying it would be $3.5 million for each corporation. Hussein questioned, how could that even reform local government? Listen to this.
So I went back into the yellow books that we get in the budget, the draft estimates of revenue. Not Google. The books are yellow. And when you look at page 2, Mr. Deputy Speaker, of the draft estimates of revenue, there is a line item here. Mr. Deputy, page 3, sorry, called Property Tax Act number 18 of 2009. And they're estimated to collect $50 million for fiscal year 2023. So, we assume, based on the budget statement, that the $50 million is the amount of taxes that will be generated on residential property, which will go to local government. Let's do the math, Mr. Deputy Speaker. $50 million divided by 14 regional corporations. What do you get? $3.5 million per corporation. You see the mama guy in this whole thing, Mr. Deputy Speaker? $3.5 million you're going to collect to give each corporation, if it's equitably distributed, equally distributed. How could that ever reform local government? How could it ever reform local government? It is all a mama guy, Mr. Deputy Speaker, a mama guy.
So now, viewers, Saddam added that while Imbert was piloting this bill, the inner child inside of him excited to introduce a new tax. Port of Spain South MP Keith Scotland interjected. Is the honorable member now a psychologist? Ooh, will you hear that? Listen to this.
But I looked at the demeanor of the Minister of Finance while he was piloting this bill, and he was very calm. No, he was very calm. He was very calm. I observed his demeanor. And the minister was very calm. But Mr. Deputy Speaker, you can see the child inside of him excited to introduce a new tax. He was salivating. It was a mouth-watering tax for the Minister of Finance. He cannot wait to tax the people of Trinidad and Tobago. He cannot wait to tax the people.
Is the honorable member now a psychologist?
No. Okay, member. Okay. Okay. All right, I have ruled. I have ruled. Okay, Naparima, I have ruled.
Wasn't Keith Scotland the same one who said go back to coal pot? Wasn't Keith Scotland the same one who said go back to riding bicycle to go to work? Oh. I wonder if he went back to coal pot. I wonder if he is riding a bicycle now to and from work. Caller, good night.
Good night, Mr. Saieed Ali. Mr. Saeed, I want to ask the government of Trinidad and Tobago a question. The citizens of this country have been paying health surcharge for umpteen years that I can remember. What does the health surcharge do for citizens in this country? And side two, number two, I would like to know what will be the property tax for Trin City Mall for a year, please. Tell the public of Trinidad and Tobago what will be the cost of a Trin City Mall property tax for the year. Thank you.
My friend, I would love to hear the answer to your question from no other than the Minister of Finance, the Honorable Colin Imbert. I would love to hear that. I would love to hear that. So, Colin, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, we are seeking answers. We are seeking answers. Why is it that a property owner, a residential owner, have to pay property tax when those who have the multi-story buildings that have rental apartments in it, they got exempted? Is that fair? Is that not a property? That big rental building there that house 10, 15 and 20 or maybe 50, 60 apartments, is that not a property? If that is not a property that people dwells in after their hard day's work, what is the name of it? Because if my house, you class it as a residential property and I have to pay tax, how do you call that building? Is that not a property? Is that not a property, Colin Imbert? Paula, good night.
Yeah, hello.
Go right ahead.
Saeed, good night. Yeah. I remember trying to class Trinidad with the
Other
UK.
countries, yes.
And I mean, I drive in the UK, and you could drive from north to south, east to west, all over, and the roadway and everything is up to standard.
Correct.
You could drive without, crime,
Bending your rim,
pothole, and everything. I mean, the road is so, up to standard because the tax money work for the people.
Yes.
We pay tax in Trinidad, and you don't see where it's going. They fixed the road in Aqua Road, Charlieville. I'm from Charlieville. And that road didn't last 2 months. Pothole all over the road, water leak all over the road. Now they're cleaning the drains, and they just slap it on the side of the wall. And the rain come down now and it's washing away. Right now you could see it. So the tax money has been wasted all the time in this country.
Correct.
Plus, we don't have a good road in this country.
Well said.
And this is the nonsense. All these jokers in Parliament should step down. There are a bunch of jokers in Parliament right now.
Correct.
They should be paying back for all the money that they extort from this country. They're getting paid for doing nothing, for wasting our money. That's what they're getting paid for.
I hear
It's a shame.
you. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
So now, viewers, Finance Minister Coleman would have stated that 4 local government bodies in Trinidad could collect up to could collect up to $198 million in property tax a year when all properties in those corporations have been valued using annual rental valuation methodology. But does that include the multi-story dwelling apartment buildings? Does it? Does it? Because those are property also that people lives in. They live in it. They call the apartment, what? How do they call it? They call it home. That is what they call it. They call it home. It stated that based on property tax that have already been registered, the regional corporation of Couva Tabaki Talparo will be in recipient of $44 million. Saddam Hussein, just break it down for you. Saddam Hussein, just break it down for you to $3.5 million, but Couva Tabakit will get $44 million if all properties pay up. So if those big multi-story dwelling apartments pays up also, I don't know, but I'm asking. So if those buildings not paying up, how could Couva Tabaki Talparo Regional Corporation be a recipient of $44 million? The Regional Corporation tax of Penal DB will get $35 million a year. Chirapona Regional will get $67 million a year. And the Borough of Shogunas is estimated at $52 million from property tax. I'll listen to this.
And based on this, based on the properties that have registered and so on, I can say that the Regional Corporation of Couva Tabaki Talparo, when all residential properties have been valued, will be in receipt of $44 million. $44 million. The Regional Corporation of Penal DB, Mr. Deputy Speaker? Right. the Regional Corporation of Penal Debe, when all properties in that region have been valued and taxes paid, will get $35 million a year. The Regional Corporation of Tunapuna Piako, being one of the more populated corporations, will get $67 million a year. The borough of Chaguanas is estimated to get $52 million from property tax. And you see, Mr. Deputy Speaker, they do speak out of two sides of the mouth. As I give the numbers, which put pay to the untruth that it's only $3 million, and they hear that the borough of Chaguanas is in line to get $52 million if they do their work, because the corporations have to go and collect this tax.
So you hear that? Now listen this.
So I went back into the yellow books that we get in the budget, the draft estimates of revenue. Not Google. The books are yellow. And when you look at page 2, Mr. Deputy Speaker, of the draft estimates of revenue, there is a line item here, Mr. Deputy, page 3, sorry, called Property Tax Act number 18 of 2009. And they're estimated to collect $50 million for fiscal year 2023. So we assume, based on the budget statement, that the $50 million is the amount of taxes that will be generated on residential property, which will go to local government. Let's do the math, Mr. Deputy Speaker. $50 million divided by 14 regional corporations. What do you get? $3.5 million per corporation. You see the mama guy in this whole thing, Mr. Deputy Speaker? $3.5 million you're going to collect to give each corporation, if it's equitably distributed, equally distributed. How could that ever reform local government? How could it ever reform local government? It is all a mama guy, Mr. Deputy Speaker, a mama guy.
Call a good night.
Yeah, good night, Saeed.
Go right ahead.
I don't know why this doing compare Trinidad to America. Because in America, when you call the police, within 5 minutes, it has 10 cars in front of your house. When you drive on the road, it has no pothole to break out your suspension, so you have to go and spend money. When you ask for hospital services, you can get it right away, even though you have to pay or not. But I don't know what this Mr. Klung imps both talking about.
Thank you, my friend. So Trinidad and Tobago, Colin Members have stated that 4 local government bodies in Trinidad could collect up to $198 million in property tax a year when all properties in those corporations have been valued using the annual rental valuation methodology. So I want to know, is it only residential property? Or is it also those big 15, 10, 7 story building with multiple apartments where the citizens can call home? If government decides to put a value to those buildings, let me tell you something, they will be paying more money than a person who owns a residential property. In that way, I could say we can safely collect $198 million and the Tunapuna, not the Tunapuna, the Kuva Tabaki Paro Regional Corporation could then collect $44 million, as Colin Imbut said. Because he said it himself. He said it himself. When all properties in those corporations have been valued using the annual rental valuation methodology. So which means if these multi-story apartment buildings, but they are part of it too. Am I right? Am I right, citizens? Yes, I'm right. Let me tell you something. When they call themselves minister, and they have all the brains and all the education, Let me tell you something. It have citizens in Trinidad who are not ministers, but I'm definitely sure they have more brain power than some of them. So you want to tell me now, our educated finance minister, Colin Mimbut, wants to compare Trinidad and Tobago dollar to the US dollar. And if you think that bad, he wants to compare the UK dollar to Trinidad dollar. That's the Minister of Finance. But congratulations, he will continue to dig out your eyes. So viewers, we are out of time for tonight, but nevertheless, you see this topic, we're going to continue it another night. You're only getting that right here on Real Talk with Saieed Ali. So until we meet again, viewers, good night.